We gather here today to bury the Cincinnati Bearcats 2025 basketball team. February 2nd. February 2nd. And it's over. I have never heard the old Shoemaker Center that quiet. We were promised a movement, and that movement has been further and further down the Big 12 standings. Now 2-8 in this conference. Only Colorado is worse. More turnovers than made field goals in the first half. More boos than cheers. When the fans can't stand the product, it is over. It is over. Unless, of course, you have a $9.5 million buyout. This team is dead, yet the coach will likely survive all of this. And if he doesn't, we'll get a nice $9.9 million on the way out the door. Imagine being a complete failure at your job, sucking at your job, and getting $10 million to be asked to not be the leader of this basketball program anymore. Final words before we put shovel in the dirt. It's West Virginia 63. It's Cincinnati 50, not to bury the lead.
Yeah, I put together a little poem based on how I'm feeling. This season has been brutal, and to be honest, I'm depressed. Hand up, I was fooled by the once beloved head coach Wes. I didn't see it coming. No one did. And all our coach said was, I'm pissed off, and I said, no shit. From Final Four contenders to the worst team in the league, we're in the darkest of times, and there's no sunlight I can see. At this point, there isn't much more I can say. For now, you can find me on DraftKings cooking up a $10 million parlay. Thank you so much.
$10 million. That's what it's going to take. It would actually be 13 if the Bearcats fired Wes Miller right now. But as our guy Eric Lilly has said, stop spreading the fake news. It would be 9.5, or I guess 9.9 million after the season. And I don't know how, as a Cincinnati Bearcats fan, you can stomach what you just watched and say, let's run it back with this head coach next season. I mean, to make matters worse, like Rayvon Griffith comes into the game and he looked like our best freaking player. Where the hell's he been all year? And I ridiculed you, Houdini, because I assumed that our head coach knew what he was doing. And if a player couldn't help, he wouldn't be in the game. I mean, it's clear this guy has no idea what he's doing. I mean, we have a MAC coach at best leading our program, and it is time to move on. Sean Abayev, I love him. I think he's going to be an NBA player. I mean, if it's sacrificing him to get rid of Wes, I don't care. I do not care anymore. Welcome to Chatterbox Bearcats, everyone. Link is going in the chat if you want to call into the show and vent your frustrations.
No, it's unbelievable, man. I said after we lost to BYU by 30, I was like, well, it can only go up from here, I guess. No, rock bottom. It just keeps happening every single game. Wes is in so over his head. They got to figure out a way to buy this guy out. Come up with some type of a deal. I don't care what you do. He is not the guy. Sean Abayev, yeah, he's a great player. I mean, Rutgers has 2 top 5 picks, freshmen on their team, and they're a 500 basketball team. He certainly is going to be the savior of the program. There's an issue with the head coach. He handpicked these guys. We've gotten worse. They don't play with energy. They don't play with intensity. They can't shoot. They can't they turn the ball over like crazy. They can't play defense. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in all of college basketball, let alone the free throw percentage. There isn't one positive thing to point to of what Wes Miller has done in year 4. It is so unacceptable. And I'm ashamed watching these games. Like, we are other teams' tune-up games. You know, West Virginia was on a losing streak. They come into our house and just wipe the floor with us. I mean, it's disgusting.
Beat the absolute shit out of us. It wasn't even close.
Have their best player. They don't even have their best player suiting up. They come in on the road
with a first-year coach who inherited a disastrous situation. So I don't want to hear from any of the Cats fans, oh, Wes, he inherited this, he inherited that. It's year 4, fellas. It is year 4. And for those that say, well, we're going to set back this program 5 years by firing Wes, I'd love to go back 5 years. These last 5 years have been an abomination, A. And B, we're talking about who on this team do we even want to return next season? Really? I mean, I pointed to Tyler Betsy and Dylan Mitchell. That is it. Every single other player. I mean, obviously, if Wes is no longer the coach, we could start talking about other players because I do think it is a coaching issue and not 100% talent. But, I mean, this is bad, man. This is bad. The fan base has completely flipped on Wes Miller.
No, 100%. And you always say you can't reshuffle the chairs on the Titanic. Like Sean Abayev is that piece of wood that Rose is on. I guess Connor Hickman is Jack, and they just kind of threw him under. But that's all he has. That's his only thing that he has that you could be like, okay, we got a McDonald's All-American. We say his recruiting, right? His recruiting. He's got great recruiting. He knows how to hit the portal. Does he? Does he? Because I mean, look at what we are. We're quite literally. I think we'd lose to Colorado. That's the one team without a conference win. I think at full strength, Colorado beats us tomorrow. I really do. So I don't know what to say, man. I imagine thinking this was coming like 2 months ago. It is truly insane. This is like the biggest downfall I've ever seen in a team that had this high of expectations.
I brought this up a few times on a show with Lily. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I just said, like, hey, this is a possibility. When we started off, I think it was 0-2. I was like, what if this team legit goes 5-15 in the conference? He's like, I think he said hogwash. He said hogwash. You know, that's not going to happen. There's no way that this could possibly happen. I said, what about this head coach has made you think that, like, he can win? He went 7-11 last year in the conference, and we acted like the team was rolling, like he had a program built, 4 games under 500 in the conference. And we thought Wes had figured it all out. He was losing games in the American. He's probably going to have a losing record this season, which is just flat out unacceptable at Cincinnati. And it brings us to our larger point. Wes Miller, after the 2022 season, was extended. Okay, whatever. You give the coach an extension for doing absolutely nothing. I don't necessarily understand it, but here's where it gets beyond interesting. In December of 2022, the UC Board of Trustees extended the contract of men's basketball coach Wes Miller through the 2028-2029 season. A guy that had done nothing. He had lost every single game to Memphis, every single game to Houston. The team fell apart in his first season after beating Illinois and hanging with Arkansas at the beginning of the year. They got worse as the season went along. And after 2 seasons, heading into the Big 12, they said, let's extend this guy to 28-29. And just in case he is a failure, let's make his buyout so freaking large that even if he has the worst team in the last 30 years of this program, he still has the coolest seat in America. A $13 million buyout for this guy right now is a shame. It's a disgrace. And the fact that if we were to fire John Cunningham, even he would get $4 million on the way out the door. It's disgusting. There's way too much money in this sport for sucking at your job, plain and simple. I would have loved on my way out the door at CBS in San Francisco for them to have said, you did a good job here, but here's $4 million on your way out the door. Guess what I got? A pat on the back, and that's it.
It's a great industry to get into if you can, because yet you can just objectively suck at your job for years. And they're like, you know what? You are so bad. We're just going to hand you $10 million to get the hell out of Clifton. And we weren't competing with anybody when we extended him. I still don't understand why we went that far out as far as the number of years. I get they were trying to match Big 12 salaries because he was going to be the lowest paid coach in the Big 12, which he should be, quite frankly. But John Cunningham, and this is from the tweet from a listener of the program, Brandon Saho. Cincinnati football and basketball are combined. Saho. I always screw it up. Saho combined 13 and 33 in the Big 12 in the last 2 seasons. No bowl games, no NCAA appearances, tournament appearances. It is an utter failure. As an AD, your biggest job, you could argue it. Your biggest job is to hire the basketball and football coach. And listen, Satterfield, we'll see what he does next year, because what we're seeing right now in the basketball program, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, man. Like, I really don't. Like, why would we think he's going to turn around regardless of what he does in the portal, regardless of what players he brings into this program? I don't think the guy can coach basketball. He's a professional clap. I don't think he's a basketball coach.
Have you ever done the clap workout before? You clap for, like, Carson Scheidler taught me this one back at Moeller High School. You clap for about 10 minutes straight, and it's strenuous exercise, man. So he's got to be feeling it in the triceps right about now, because he does clap and chew quite a bit of gum. So the jaws, triceps, good. Winning percentage, it's shit. Justin O'Neill gave us $1.99 to start the contributions to our telethon. Yes, this is a Chatterbox Bearcats telethon to try and raise $9.9 million to buy out Wes Miller after the season. If we come up a little short on that $9.9 million, we'll put it into some graphics and maybe some sponsorships moving forward. But $1.99 from Justin O'Neill. We even got the Fort Worth Mountaineer, who's a Reds fan, but is singing country roads. He is contributing $5 to the buyout of our basketball coach. That is how bad it is right now. Here's the thing, man. I look back 5-6 years ago. We had Rick Pitino wearing UC polos, unemployed, getting ready to go to Iona, and we hired John Brannon. And I get it, President Pinto, he's not touching any of these coaches with a 10-foot pole. But guess what? We got another situation like that right now, and his name is Will Wade. And they're not going to hire Will Wade. We already know this because they're stupid. This athletic department, they're idiots. They're dumb. Like, look at what coaches that are considered damaged goods can do to a program. Bruce Pearl. Auburn was nothing. I worked in Alabama and covered that Auburn team when they hired him. I can't even remember who they had just gotten rid of, but it was like 15 years without an NCAA tournament. He's got the number one team in the country right now. Kelvin Sampson. We saw that firsthand. They were in the Conference USA with Cincinnati. They were on the same, obviously they had the history behind their side, but they were in the same realm as like East Carolina, Tulane, Tulsa, Temple. Like it was really that way. And then they bring in Kelvin Sampson and look where they are now. Coaching matters. Pull the plug, do the right thing, get him the fuck out of town. I've seen enough. It's an absolute disgrace. I like the guy as a person. He's a nice dude, says all the right things, seems like a leader of men. But unfortunately, those men that he's running out there right now are getting their ass kicked every single game in year 4 with a healthy basketball team. It's over. When the fans can't stand you, it is done. Do it.
We were getting the boo birds out in the first half, man. I don't know the last time I've seen that at Fifth Third Arena. People left with about 10 minutes, half the stadium emptied out. Especially with our backs against the wall, and we're still favored. I don't know why Vegas keeps favoring UC. Did you see that stat that we're like the 20th worst team in all of college basketball, which is comprised of like 350 teams against the spread? We're like 20th worst. So I was sitting there going, God, I feel like I've lost a ton of money on this team. Maybe I'm just overreacting. No, we are quite literally the worst team to bet on in college basketball, probably in all of Power 4. And sometimes the obvious answer for a coach is the right one, right? Like a Pitino, like Will Wade. Will Wade got in trouble for what? Paying players? That's what we do now, okay? That's what we do. So they got to figure something out. We need a donor with a fat checkbook that just gets so fed up that he goes, screw it. I'm paying $10 million. Or we could do I didn't Chris Mack. He had like a deal. He was like, I kind of want out of Louisville too. So we'll cut it in half. Like if we could do something like that, because this is not working out, man.
If Wes is truly a leader and a man of character, what he would do is he would, after the season, if he can't turn this thing around, he'd step into the administration. He'd step in with the presidents and the chancellors and the administration and the boosters all in one room. And he'd say, fellas, 4 years of this, I've been an objective failure. I do not deserve my $13 million buyout. I want about $1.5 million from you guys just for damages from the fan base booing me every single night. It's been a little hard to sleep. I understand that. But $10 million is just the most absurd thing I have ever seen or heard in my life. You were on a great monologue there, and the internet decided to freeze up on us. Basically, I think the internet's being controlled right now by the UC administration. Anytime we try to have a bad word about Wes, they're cutting us out. We can't say what we want to say. But what Houdini said is the Bearcats were -6 in this game. -6. A 6-point favorite against the West Virginia Mountaineers. And they got their asses handed to them. How many times do you need to make money on this team before Vegas finally says, you know what, maybe we shouldn't trust our analytics. This team may actually suck. How many home games have we lost? Like 4, 5?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. We have 0 home court advantage. Vegas has not figured that out yet. So they did make a change to the starting lineup. They threw Day-Day in there. Damn, Day-Day was chucking. He was 4 of 14 tonight. They took out Dan Skillings, and I truly don't know. I guess it has to be the injury. I don't know. Dan Skillings has forgot how to play basketball. I know he He's talking about going pro. I'm like, I mean, maybe head to Manny Pacquiao's league in the Philippines to get a rotation spot there, because I don't think many professional ball clubs are going to be calling Dan Skillings after what we've seen. I just it's almost inexplainable. Like I don't know how to explain what we've seen with these guys regressing so immensely. Because we talked about last year, and I actually saw positive strides with the team, though. We didn't win a ton of games. I mean, 7-11 in conference, but we were competitive in all of them. We're getting blown out of the gym every game now. It's every day we play. It's like we're down 15. It's insane to me. I
It
truly don't
feels
get it.
it feels like the longer that Wes is with these guys, the worse they get. It does feel that way. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, look at Victor Locken last year. He became broken late in the season. And I mean, he was a formidable player all his years prior. And even under Wes was formidable. And now he goes to Clemson. And he's averaging 10-6 on a team that could make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. I mean, name one player. Everyone could point to Landers Nolly that came in. Landers Nolly didn't spend enough time with Wes to get worse. You know, he just came in and chucked up a bunch of shots. But aside from that, every single player has gotten worse under Wes Miller. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, you could argue like John Newman. He took a step forward in his senior season for sure.
Fair.
Because like we said last week, I mean, he's now being considered in the Hall of Fame because he was apparently the glue that made this thing go. But yeah, no, everybody else, man, it's like CMOS. What happened there? Aziz.
We know what happened there. It's CMOS and Aziz. Like their skill sets, they need complementary pieces around them that let them adhere to their skill sets, and they just don't have it. Like everyone knows what CMOS is doing, and he can't free up his own shot. Like he needs players to penetrate and collapse the
Yeah.
defense and take some pressure off and get some open looks. It's just him off the curl nonstop. There's three bodies draped all over him. He's spinning in the lane, throwing it away. He can't do anything. Like that's just not his game. And then the same with Aziz. He's a lob guy, and he's someone that is in there for finishing around the rim with two hands, just a dunk, and rebounding and defense. That's pretty much it. And when you don't surround these guys with the right players, we're seeing what we are seeing. I don't think it's a talent issue, but the roster construction has been a nightmare.
I mean, I think at this point, if Wes is going to be the coach next year, I say you play Betsy and guys like Rayvon Griffith significant minutes. See what we have. See if we want to bring those guys back. I would love to bring back Tyler Betsy, first and foremost. But see what Rayvon has. Like I was clamoring for. It was more so just, hey, we look so horrific. At least throw the guy in. See if you got anything, an energy spark. We saw it today. Let those guys play because this season's dead and gone. We don't need to see CMOS out there. He's going to be gone anyway. He one for 15 between CMOS and Jizzle James. I thought Jizzle may have taken a step forward after the last couple of games. Nope, we're right back to the cellar. 0 of 8 from the field with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 rebound. Pretty hard to do, man, for the amount of minutes he played. So I think you just get the young guys in there, see if you got anything, and if we want to bring those guys back, then so be it. But give the young guys some run.
Some more bucks from Justin O'Neill. This guy's our savior. He's doing everything he can to make sure that Wes Miller's out of here. We finally figured out Vegas's weakness. They've never seen a team regress so fast. Were we ever good? That's the question. I mean, we beat Xavier at home with some big shots down the stretch. We beat the hell out of Dayton, and we've seen enough from Dayton. They're just whatever. But like we looked terrible against Villanova on the road. Kansas State, we didn't look good against. That's a sub 500 team. That was just like a month ago. Were we ever good? Is the question that I have.
I mean, I think if we played Xavier, next Saturday, I think we'd lose by 20. I really do. I think there was some regression. Confidence went out the window. And these guys are flat out quitting on Wes. I know that was like the one thing we're like, well, the team hasn't quit on them. They look like they quit, man. They don't even look like they care. There's no passion. But yes, I think we've gotten worse. I think at one point we were at least okay. Looking back, like I think we lose to Dayton and Xavier at this point. I mean, we're one of the worst power teams in all of basketball right now. I don't think you can argue it.
We're an embarrassment, a disgrace to humanity. DJ Erie Tunes, John Gross would be a good coaching fit for UC. Hell, John Gross took Ohio U to a Sweet 16. Almost took him to an Elite Eight. He'd be a good hire. Utah State's basketball coach, Jared Calhoun, who was on UC's staff under Bob Huggins, he's a name that would definitely be brought up. Will Wade's kind of the wishful thinking guy. Huggins would be a name that's brought up. I don't think that UC would ever pull the trigger on that one. That would be hysterical if it actually happened and Bob came back. You know, he's sober. He's gotten some rest. He comes back in and leads this program back to glory. What a Disney movie that would be, you know, with someday John Goodman starring as Bob Huggins. But I don't think that one's going to happen. Here's the issue, man. I mean, like, when are they going to fire Wes? Seriously, it doesn't even feel like his seat is warming up. I mean, per everything that we've heard from our inside sources within the program, it's like it's not happening, fellas. So you can get on here as much as you want and talk, you know, shit. It's not happening.
I've been trying to find like a comparable situation where a team like a UC, for example, paid an outrage. This would be one of the biggest buyouts in college basketball in a while. Like there's a couple names, but you know, it's like Florida State when they got rid of their what the hell's his name? The football coach. It was like some ridiculous number. We're not Florida State, you know, we're not like LSU, Alabama. I don't know if there's been a team that is in UC's realm that has paid this heavy of a buyout. Why we're in this situation, we already discussed that. I have no goddamn idea why we're sitting here with a guy that's never made the tournament. He has a $10 million buyout after his fourth season. So I don't know. This is a big program though. There are big donors. We got guys. I'm DMing the TQL guy as we speak to see if he's got any interest, because at some point you have to do it no matter what. And to your point, it would probably be from a money perspective. We'd probably have to go get a mid-major guy. I don't think we could bring in like a Will Wade because he's going to have a big price tag on him if we actually did do a buyout. Now, this all could be a moot point, and you talk to, you know, inside UC guys, they're like, there is literally a 0% chance he's getting canned, which is a travesty.
It's just crazy. Like at some point, you got to earn it. You got to earn your job, and the dude just hasn't done it. And for everyone that says culture, like that's a word that's been pointed to. Like, what culture are you guys looking at? Like, it's embarrassing. I'm wearing a Warriors hat right now because I'm embarrassed to wear a UC hat. Although I guess I'm wearing a shirt, so let's cover that. But dude, like it's just absolutely crazy that they extended him there. It's watching this team's like Bird Box, you know, you open your eyes, you die. Have we had a backdoor cut all year, dude? All year. I don't think
we don't get
have.
easy baskets. We don't get easy baskets, and we don't make layups. There's got to be some advanced analytics of just missed layups. We got to be top 10 in the country in that category. So that's the one thing that we're top 10 in is missed layups. We're damn near at the bottom of every statistical category, no matter how you look at it. Turnovers, we're one of the most turnover-prone teams in the country. I still can't get over the fact that they were harping it on the broadcast. They're like, it's really hard to lose if you win the turnover battle. And I'm sitting there going, we had 19 turnovers forced against Utah, and we only had 6, and we still lost. I'm at a loss of words. Like, I don't know how much longer can we do this show on every damn show? We're just like, this team sucks. They're bad at everything. The coach, the culture, the players, the roster construction. It's Groundhog's Day. And I think Groundhog's Day is actually coming up, right? Isn't that in like a week?
Yeah. Pete is actually talking about replacing the groundhog with just like a
Wes Miller.
Yeah, I guess Wes Miller's just going to stand out there and say, "Hey, we got a winner for 4 more weeks." Dude, it's brutal right now. Crazy thing is I had boots on the ground at the game that told me it was sold out. He's like, "There's not an empty seat in the building." How many other teams are in year 6 of no tourneys, have a 2-8 record in the conference, and are selling out basketball games? Like we saw Colorado, who's winless in this conference. There were like 40 people there. Like this program is legit. People care. How much longer will they care if we get another year of this? Like we'll give Abayev and Tillery and I mean, he's going to have to flip the entire thing and bring in a brand new team. We'll give him a chance. But if they start off 0-3 in the Big 12 next year, like how many fans are going to these games?
I don't know. We do have a passionate fan base. That's for certain. I mean, hell, we got 500 people live joining this show. I was like, maybe we only get, 50 people because it's been so ugly. But you got to show something, man. You can't expect people to keep coming out and, they're booing in the first half against a West Virginia team without their best player. They're on a 3-game skid. Everything pointed to
A
UC could
first-year
win this game.
coach.
It's yeah, and we're done with the whole, we're going to set the
And
program
we're a better
back.
program than
It
West
doesn't
Virginia, at
matter.
least statistically, historically. I know that they've done more in the last 25 years, I'd say. But look, Huggins turned down going back to his alma mater to stay at Cincinnati in the Conference USA because he felt he had a better chance to win at Cincinnati, or he liked the culture here better, whatever it may be. He turned down West Virginia originally, his alma mater, to stay at Cincinnati. I mean, think about that now with what this program's turned into. We're a joke, fellas. We're a joke. It's embarrassing.
Well, and we got the new facilities, man. The arena is awesome. The Jordan sponsorship, like everything should be pointing in the right direction, but we're getting worse. Game by game, we're getting worse. The fan base is obviously completely flipped on Wes Miller. I don't know if I've ever seen a downfall this quick. It needs to be studied. Where over the summer, people would have been like, "Oh, let's let's extend Wes another 10 years. Like he's the best coach in the country." I don't see it. Nobody can see it. I don't even think he believes in it anymore. Like I think he's panicking himself. You could see it in his eyes. Like he's like, I don't know what to do. This was supposed to be where we turn this thing around. We're a top 15 team all year. We're seeing the exact opposite, man. We're a bottom dweller. And there's a chance we lose out, man. We haven't even played Iowa State or who is it? Iowa
Houston,
State, Houston. We haven't
you
played
got
Iowa State or
Baylor.
Houston yet. We got Baylor again. We're gonna get absolutely smoked. We might score 20 points against Iowa State, and I'm dead serious about that. So it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I promise you that.
Yeah, you thought last year was bad with the turnovers in the Iowa State game. Imagine what it's going to turn into this year. And that's what's so crazy, man. It's the turnovers. It's just a byproduct of not being prepared, of sloppy basketball, of just court awareness. Like, how many times do you see 3 dudes setting screens all right next to each other? And it's like, dude, spread the floor. Like, what the hell are we doing? No one knows what the hell they're doing. And that to me is on coaching. Final numbers: Bandego had 2, Mitchell had 6, Lukosius had 8, 10 for Day Thomas. Jizzle James was awful. And I say that with all caps. Awful. 0 of 8 in the game, 3 turnovers, 1 assist from your point guard. I mean, Christ almighty. Not good. Arrington Page had 0. Betsy had 5. Skillings had 6. Reed had 6. And Rayvon Griffith had 7. The team shot at 31% from the floor. They did shoot at 91% from the free throw line, but 31% from the floor in the game is an utter disgrace. 14 turnovers compared to West Virginia's 13. Cincinnati does win the rebounding total, and West Virginia shoots it a robust 49% from the floor, 50% from 3. I don't really know what else to say aside from bringing the bagpipes up to about 100% volume, because we pull the bagpipes out when it's completely over, and this thing's completely over February 2nd. I know Wes will say in the presser there's a lot of basketball left. There's not a lot of basketball left. Like, you're done, man. You're losing every game at home. You're done.
Oh, they're cooked. They're Gordon Ramsay cooked, man. This team is long and gone. I mean, it was over. It was over a week ago. Anyway, I mean, we lost to Utah. What are we doing? So this season's cooked. It's amazing because I thought at least at a minimum this team was going to be a defensive-minded team, and we were from all the analytics we were a top 10 defense coming into conference play. Our defense sucks too, man. We're
Fine.
giving
It was
up.
better in the second half, but yeah, 40 in the first.
Still 40. I mean, they're shooting 49% and 50 from 3. And this is consistent. We keep seeing this. Like, our defense is not good. We can't stay in front of anybody. We're getting backdoor cut. They're getting easy layups. We never get an easy shot up, ever. It's Jizzle James doing a fadeaway mid-range jump shot, which he couldn't, hit to save his life today. There's not one thing you could point at and say, like, oh, this team's good at this. We're not good at anything, man. It's really It's a brutal watch. I'm going to keep watching. I know some people said they're done even watching this team. I'll be watching. We'll be doing the show, unfortunately, but it's some of the ugliest stuff you'll ever see in your life, man.
It's kind of, as a fan, you have to remind yourself that you want your team to win, right? You're like, oh, I got to quit rooting against them, like, because naturally you kind of root for the world to burn sometimes. You're just like, oh, if we can't make the NCAA tournament, just burn the entire thing down. I was having that conversation with Niehaus. He's like, yeah, maybe if we lose to West Virginia, we should just tank. I'm like, yeah, we should probably try to get some more assets, higher draft
picks. Yeah.
Tank. But I have to remind myself that, like, I am a fan of this team. I just hate seeing what I'm seeing right now. And I know the fastest way to see Wes out the door, because I think the dude stinks. I think he stinks. And there are legit Carolina fans that I've seen on Twitter that still want to hire this guy. And I'm like, dude, look up what he's done at Cincinnati. If you hire him at North Carolina, you guys are out of your mind insane. The one thing I'm holding hope on to is that maybe he just constructed a very poor team. Next year he gets a portal haul, figures it out. But we said that 3 years ago, man. We said that 3 years ago, and then we said that 2 years ago, and then we said that last year. And I mean, how long are we going to do this? That's it for me. Any final thoughts for the way out the door?
No, at some point you are what you are, and to have any faith in, even if Wes Miller and we have a solid team next year and we sneak into the tournament, whatever, I have no faith as far as him being the head basketball coach moving forward. I really don't. Even if he had his fifth year, he snuck in as an 11 seed. I don't have any faith that he knows how to coach a basketball team. We've seen it time and time again. This is year 4. It's unacceptable. We got to figure out a way to get him out of here. And it sucks because, we all like him. We all like him, and he cares. I know he does. But at some point, this is your job. It's a meritocracy, right? That's what we always say. And his results have been just ass through and through. Those are my last words, Chuck.
Wes Miller quotes after the game: 14 years as a head coach. I don't know if I've ever at any point in the year had a team show such a lack of effort. That's on coaching. Wes Miller: if I was someone who supported this program, I'd be frustrated and pissed off. I am. And that's how he finishes it. He's pissed off. Houdini's pissed off. I'm pissed off. Somewhere Niehaus is pissed off. I think Lily's pissed off too. At this point, everyone is pissed off. Sean Kilpatrick for sure pissed off. I mean, the fact that these guys are getting paid and Sean Kilpatrick will never see $1 for his contributions in Bearcats uniform, it's shameful, but that's just where we are as a program and as a sport. Chatterbox Bearcats. You check us out on your audio podcast platform of your choice and on YouTube. Peace, everyone.